What made you leave the services industry and become an entrepreneur? I guess for better rewards, like I said earlier, if you have a team of 20 people, there's more potential that you can, or the effort required to sell to one customer versus 100 is almost the same, whereas in the services, it's more directly proportional to the number of people that you have. What issues did you face? I guess biggest issue was coming up with the right idea. We're still facing that, but at least I think we have some direction to how to choose the ideas. Why products? Again, for better reward, hopefully. More risk, more reward kind of situation. How did you choose what product to build? I hope I have answered this question. How to innovate? Like I mentioned earlier, you have to think two years ahead. So market पे आपको बहुत ज़्यादा क्या कहते हैं market की pulse जो आपने हर वक्त monitor करनी है and be able to gather enough indicators that can tell you कि 2 साल बाद क्या होने वाला है. 2 साल is just a number. It could be 5 years. So depends on what you are building and how fast you are, and you know. What specific problems did you face during the implementation? Not too many at this time. We're still in the learning phase, so I think it's still a little early to answer that question. How do you plan to sell the product to? How do you find a person to sell for you? Selling is still something we haven't done, so this is you know, a little bit earlier, but I think at least we're focusing on the local market right now. And we are relying on door-to-door marketing. So there are a couple of guys that we hired for marketing purposes. They go out, they talk to shop owners for this idea that we are working on, and deliver our message and get feedback, and accordingly we do different things. What would you do differently? I think it would be good to ask me this question probably in a year from now, because like, we're infants at this point, so too early to say what we would do differently.
Okay.
So that concludes my side of things. I'll leave the floor open now for questions.
I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing all of that openly. I think there's a lot of questions that we had that you've automatically answered through most of this. One question that came to my mind here was, I mean, a lot of these things are not innovation, especially as far as the Pakistani market goes. I mean, if you're 5 or 10 years behind the US, we don't really need to innovate. We just need to pick the things in the US, you know, 10 years ago, and see which ones we can actually apply here. So the sense I was getting was that it's not about innovation. It's perhaps how you execute the idea. Part of that being the development of the technical development of the product, but part of it being, you know, for example, how you localize this. So in the top deals is something you find in the US very common, but how do you, you know, Pakistanize this? How do you brand it locally? How do you align it with buying behavior of people in Pakistan, so that it's more on how you execute the idea than the idea itself? What do you think about that?
Right, I think that's a very true statement, and this is one of the things, you know, जिसमें यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ था. Point number 3, analyze success in leading markets. So that's exactly what it is. You look at somebody who's a couple of years ahead of you, or 5-10 years ahead of you, and see what was successful, what failed. Tailor it to local needs, and hopefully you will find lesser competition and that much success in a hopefully relatively short period of time. So that is absolutely true, but that's also low risk for us, because at this point in time, for us to build something and take it to the US market, 99.9% we are going to get killed over there, unless there was something truly unique and you found a partner that's willing to sell it for you and so on. So this is sort of part of like growing up for us. We go something low risk which has a little bit of return. Eventually, I think if we are able to survive that long, 4 or 5 years from now, we will get into things that are more international, so to speak, right? But at this point in time, to reduce the risk and to go through this whole experience of building a product, selling it, we wanted to be a little bit more certain that whatever it has resonated with people somewhere. So I agree with your analysis, and
I mean,
for at least next year or two, that's how we will do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you were talking about geographies and selling to Africa, and you've done some analysis here in Pakistan, you're saying that there's a lot of people getting on the internet, and there is going to be potential in Pakistan, but don't these things have to do with general economic state of affairs and per capita income and expendable income and that sort of thing? And that for Pakistan, I don't know, next 2 years will actually be any more positive than it has been. What makes you?
नहीं, इसमें देखें different चीजें, different ideas पे depend करता है. So economic factors तो हैं. तो पाकिस्तान में जो चीज सक्सेसफुल रहेगी ना, you won't be able to sell a product for even $1,000 per license. वो आपका कभी नहीं बिकेगा. So automatically आपको पता चल जाता है कि either I go in the public domain and change my revenue model to something like advertisements, because there's a lot of companies spending money on marketing and so on, or I go and target something which is general masses में available है, but उस पे कोई काम ज़्यादा नहीं हुआ. So I'll give an example without getting into specifics, because I don't have permission to share these idea itself. But there's a friend of mine who has an idea, and we were talking about it. He said कि जी मैं इसको बेचना चाहता हूँ 25,000 का एक लाइसेंस, और मेरे पास पता नहीं कितने कस्टमर्स हैं, हो जाएंगे, और इसमें ये पोटेंशियल है, वो है. तो वी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट इट, एंड वी सेड कि ओके, इफ यू आर selling it for 25,000 all at once, it's going to be that much difficult. So why don't we try something like a SaaS model, and we say कि जी अच्छा ये 2,000 रुपए महीने का आपको हम चार्ज करेंगे, and it will be like a ongoing thing. और अगर आप 500 कस्टमर ले आते हैं तो आई थिंक वो एस्टिमेटेड लाइक 10 लाख रुपए महीने का, समथिंग लाइक दैट. That's a reasonable amount for Pakistan. You can run a small company अगर आपका 10 लाख महीने का आ रहा हो, और ये एक आइडिया. You can the game is to have that many. If you want to do more, you have to have that many products, smaller but relatively क्या कहना चाहिए, easier operational model कि उसमें आप बहुत ज़्यादा लोग ना चाहिए. तो it depends कि आप किस तरह मार्केट को एनालाइज करते हैं, और किस तरह आप अपना रेवेन्यू प्लान सिंप्लीफाई कर देते हैं कि आपको इकोनॉमिक कंडीशंस का बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट ना पड़े. 2,000 रुपये ऐसी चीज़ है जो बिजनेस में तो शायद आपकी अकाउंटिंग में भी नज़र ना आए कि 2,000 रुपये महीना कहाँ पे जा रहा है. इवन आम बंदा जो आपका मिडिल क्लास है, उसको भी अगर आप 1,000 रुपये के लिए कुछ कहें कि जी आप महीने का 1,000 रुपया दे दें, और आपको मैं लेट्स से टॉप डील्स की तरफ से आप कहते हैं मैं आपको इतनी सेविंग्स ला के दे दूंगा, आई श्योर कि वो भी इतना पैसा निकालने को तैयार हो जाते हैं. सो इकोनॉमी तो डिफरेंट है, बट यू हैव टू काइंड ऑफ अडॉप्ट टू दैट इकोनॉमी के जो रेवेन्यू आपने निकालना है उसका एक चंक में निकालें या छोटे छोटे चंक्स में बहुत ज्यादा करके निकालें. आई थिंक जो थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्रीज हैं इसमें थोड़ा और ज्यादा, यानी कि थोड़ा अमाउंट ज्यादा लोगों से, that's the model.
सही. I think one of the experiences somebody shared with me was that this gentleman had made a portal for property dealing. The idea was that because property dealing is big money, so advertisement is
right.
Make a lot of sense, and we don't have that in the market right now, so it's a gap. And they built the whole portal and they set it up. But the moral of that story, the way it concluded was that the operational model killed them. वो ये कहता था कि किसी से अगर 2,000 रुपये लेने जाना है तो मुझे एक बंदे को मोटरसाइकिल में भेजना पड़ता है जो 500 रुपये का पेट्रोल 10 बारी जाने के आने का फूंकता है, और फिर भी अगला बंदा जो है ना वो तंग करता है कि जी हमें मिला क्या है इसमें से। तो जो उसकी इवेंचुअली व्हाट वाज द फैक्ट दैट देयर ऑपरेटिंग मॉडल वाज कॉस्टिंग देम अ लॉट and it was just not possible to sustain it at that level. Although the market made sense and they got initial traction, they could just not sustain it at that level because of these issues.
ये तो वैसे जो बिलिंग वाला पार्ट है ना तो वाकई बहुत मुश्किल काम है, बिकॉज इवन जैसे अब मैं मेरे घर में इंटरनेट कनेक्शन है वाई ड्राइव का, and they are basically resorted to selling iPads or giving away iPads if you pay your bill on time. और उससे पहले मुझे याद है ये वर्ल्ड कॉल वालों का भी काफी इशू होता था कि at one point in time they even contacted Zever कि आप हमारी बिलिंग ठीक कर दें, बिकॉज एक तो खैर उनका बैकएंड पे जो बिलिंग सॉफ्टवेयर था वो ठीक नहीं था, दूसरा उनका जो कलेक्शन थी वो बहुत बुरी थी।